I'm a glorified babysitter.
Changing your seat. Good morning. Today is July 10th, 2024. I'm Kevin Day, Chair of the Custer County Board of Commissioners, and I will call this meeting to order. If you do have your cell phones, if you could silence them at this time, please. I didn't have mine before.
Mine as usual. It is silenced. I don't do that.
Okay. And if you could join us for the pledge and the invocation.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Join me for the invocation. Lord, we just thank you for this day. We thank you for the beautiful weather that we've had. The fire is contained over there, or almost contained over there by Pueblo coming into Custer there on the west side. Lord, we just thank you for the blessings. We ask for your wisdom and guidance over this meeting, the decisions that we need to make. Lord, I just ask that you bless the people of this county. In your name, amen.
Amen.
Thank you, sir. Oh, could we get a roll call?
Commissioner Day.
Here.
Commissioner Kanda.
Here.
Commissioner Epp.
Present.
County Attorney Dan Slater.
Here.
And Clerk to the Board Kelly Plankford present.
An audience introduction. Rich, will start with you.
Rich Smith, Custer County Sheriff.
Virginia Trujillo, Treasurer.
Dennis Haggerty, past president of Rotary Club of White Mountain Valley. Justin Kurth, Regional Director for Congresswoman Brittany Patterson.
Brad Baltzley, Custer County Coroner.
Nikia Phillips, Deputy Coroner.
Wyatt Butler, Airport Manager.
Jim Chaplin.
All right, and I think we've got 3 people online, so if somebody goes to speak later, if you could identify yourself for the record, I'd appreciate that. We have minutes for July 3rd.
Do you want to amend the agenda, any?
Oh, I went right past that, didn't I? I checked it off. Any amendments to the agenda?
None from me.
None for me.
None here. All right, now we have minutes from July 3rd.
I move that we accept the minutes from July 3rd, 2024.
I'll second.
A motion on the floor to approve the minutes for July 3rd of 2024. Any further discussion on those?
None for me.
Those in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Commissioner items, Commissioner Kanda.
Don't have anything new. We're still waiting for the TV tower to be accepted on the firewall from the stations. And that's about all I got right now.
All right, Commissioner Epp.
Auditor is up today and tomorrow to finish on-site items. And we've got one of the bids was redone for the roof, and we got another outrageous bid for a generator up at the Vermont Tower. So where we're at with that.
Okay.
I don't know, that's all I got.
All right. Let's just make a comment on the sidewalk project, the engineering design on that. They're calling it 30% complete. Jen and I had a call with Matt Pettit from the state. He ran us over some of the paperwork on our reimbursements for that, and we got those submitted the other day. Okay. And then I guess that mini grant for playground equipment, that's on the agenda for next week, so that's about all I have today.
What's their projected end date on that sidewalk engineering?
end of year. And then we'll have, at that time, we'll have to wait for the state to basically make available the monies for the construction phase.
Okay.
Before we put out for bids on that. And get the bid, or get the grant and go out for bids on that as well.
So the state's thinking about funding the actual construction too?
Yes. Dan, do you have anything for us?
Not really, other than to say that hopefully this isn't an issue, doesn't become an issue, but if we go past noon today, I'll have to leave it
All
I'm
right.
betting on 11:45.
That'll work.
Kelly, do you have anything?
Channel.
I do not.
Okay. That'll take us to the elected official reports. Sheriff Smith, you're up, sir.
Thank you.
Hey, Rich.
Go around the
I was just not ignoring you, wasn't you?
Right.
All right.
So I had a couple topics to go over with, and I'll end up on the fire that's burning down by Pueblo. On staffing, we're currently down one detention deputy. That was Brian King, and he had worked here in this office many times. He had left for double pay in Nebraska. We have several qualified candidates, and we're about to make a job offer. We are down one person for patrol deputy, and one of our deputies is in the final stages of transferring to Pueblo Police Department. The surrounding agencies are also down, and I estimate there's about 100 law enforcement and detention deputy vacancies in the surrounding counties. And for example, Pueblo, their jail is down 50 deputies, and Fremont County, their jail is so short that they only have 2 deputies to work at night. And it's a big jail. You all recently toured it. And if they have something happen, they have to call the SWAT team in after hours to help because they just don't have the staff.
Still around 82 prisoners?
Somewhere around that. The Metro Denver agencies now pay starting cops around $100,000. And so there's been some people that have been gravitating that way. I personally wouldn't want to go work up there. This is a better place. The pay rates get cheaper the farther you get away. Canyon City is hiring officers who commute back and forth in a police car from Colorado Springs because they have better housing options up there. And so going forward, I need to work to make sure our pay remains competitive for this area. And also, one thing we want to look at is using CTSI for our retirement plan. And CTSI is the employee pays 4% and the county pays 4%. And there's other options out there. And one of the other agencies here, I think Park County wants to switch to FPPA, which is another retirement plan in Colorado. And that requires the employee to pay 8.375% and the county pays 8.375%.
What plan are you under now?
The same as all the rest of the county.
CTSI.
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 You said you were- I thought I heard you say you were looking into it.
Well, so to be competitive, I got to look at pay
Okay, you're
and
just comparing
retirement.
it, what you
Yeah.
meant. Okay.
De Laurentiis applied for a grant to fund 2 deputies, 75% for the next 2 years, and it's called the COPS grant. And it's a federal grant, and they got big funding this year. We had a deputy donate a vehicle to the sheriff's office, and I'll be bringing the title by to file with you. And I want to do a better job, and De Laurentiis is working on seeking out grants for the coming year, but I want to do a better job of planning these out so that we have a calendar and we have more than one person that has access to it, so that we know the bulletproof grant comes out in February, and so we don't lose it in each new administration. We did get a $15,000 donation from Donna Hood at the Painted View Ranch and the Friends of the NRA to purchase additional security needs for the school. And the biggest purchase of that has already arrived and been installed. And then yesterday, the 11th Judicial District Chiefs and Sheriffs met with the incoming DA, and there's only one person running for office. And one issue across the Judicial District is called a discovery violation. And that's where there's evidence that the law enforcement agency collects and we don't give it right to the defense attorney. We have to give it to the DA, and the DA has to give it to the defense attorney in a timely manner. And so if that doesn't happen, and if the judge feels that that could prejudice the case gets dismissed. And you probably read in the news some pretty major cases in Canyon City got dismissed for those reasons. And so whose fault is that? So it could be the local law enforcement agency that we didn't properly get the evidence submitted, and there's some technology hurdles. And we use a program provided by the state called e-discovery, and it's not very user-friendly. So we're trying to get our computers to upload to e-discovery. The DA has to hit a button to send it to the public defender's office or the defense attorney. And so the new DA proposes hiring a new technology position, and he'd like to meet with all the county commissioners for the budget for next year, someone who can go and iron out these hurdles so that we're not constantly manually inputting these big cases to meet the discovery requirements.
Will be through in the DA's office.
Right.
IT.
Yep. Vehicles at the sheriff's office continue to be a problem. And when I first came on, Commissioner Flower came and talked to me and asked me what my vehicle replacement plan was going to be. And Commissioner Epp did the same thing when he came on. And my original goal was to replace the vehicles every 6 years. And at the next budget meeting, at the budget meetings, which are next month, I'll come to you. And next month is also the deadline to start ordering vehicles for the coming year. And I'll come with several options for you to consider. So we currently have 4 Dodge pickups that have mileage around the 150,000 range, and those are used for posse and for the SRO. And so those are, they're not being driven real hard, not having to be driving 100 miles an hour kind of a thing. The next bank of cars we have are 4 Durangos that are in the 75,000 mile range. And I currently have 2 of those at the shop waiting to get some repairs done. And one was a major brake upgrade, but I'm really seeing last year and this year, the Durangos are the ones eating up the maintenance budget. And so maybe that's a manufacturer problem or just the way we have. And then the next bank of vehicles we have are 4 Tahoes that are in the 20 to 40,000 mile range. So I would like to work with you and finance to see what a strategy would be. And what we're doing now is we're buying a new vehicle and then driving it into the ground and selling it for scrap at the end. And I have been buying vehicles using the state bid price. And so the state of Colorado goes to the manufacturers and comes up with a price for the vehicles. And in the past, there's some of the manufacturers have a pursuit rated vehicle, which costs a little more. And then they also have like a commercial grade vehicle. And so we had been buying the pursuit model, and then I switched to buying the commercial grade because we're not really going to get in a high-speed chase up here like you would on the interstate. And so Ford, Dodge, and Chevy have, like the Tahoe, the Durango, or the Explorer, the Expedition. And so I asked Dan Gasper, who's done a very good job for us, which brand he prefers. And he didn't want to be painted into a corner, but when I twisted his arm a little bit, he said he prefers Chevy, Dodge, and ends with Ford on maintenance costs. And so that's something to look at. So do we want to continue buying new vehicles and run them into the ground? Or would we want to buy new vehicles and try to sell them to smaller agencies before they get the 100,000 mile mark, when I think the maintenance costs really ramp up on? Or do we want to start off and buy used vehicles from other agencies? And those are available. And then is it better, and I'm asking you and finance, is it better for us to buy them outright or to lease them over a 4 or 5 year process? So I believe the last 5 vehicles we outright purchased, and then the bank of the 4 Durangos, which were before that, they were actually leased.
Yeah, we're still making payments.
Right. So I'll have to ask you guys next month what you think is the best. One other place that I found that we can save money is a process called upfitting. And so we buy the generic pickup or SUV from the manufacturer. Then we send it to a guy in Denver, and the name of the company is called Laws, and it's in Centennial. It's a huge company, and they do most of the police cars around the state, and they add stickers and lights and sirens and push bumpers and prisoner cages and things. And they charge a lot for the labor. But we actually found a new guy in Florence who has been doing that for the Florence Police Department. And so he would do it much cheaper labor-wise than going to Denver. However, you're tapping into the vehicle electronics. In fact, the new cars, when you hit the brakes on the car, the lights do something different, and put it in park, the lights do something different. And so if there's an electrical problem after you get it upfitted, the dealer says, oh, it's not us, it's whoever your guy was. So one benefit of the one in Denver is they're 24 hours a day. We can call them and say, hey, this isn't happening, and they can tell you how to reset it. The next topic could be training.
Before you do that, are there a lot of departments that lease? I doubt it, leasing.
So some lease and some buy, and I almost want to say the bigger the departments actually lease them, and I think they've got a better system to take advantage of the finances of that.
Yeah, especially when you can do volumes like 50 vehicles a year,
Yeah.
100 vehicles a year, whatever they're doing.
Well, one of my friend sheriffs in a neighboring county passed a special, got some extra money, and he bought like 20 Tahoes at one time, and so everything was good. But then now those Tahoes are all run into the ground, and he can't afford to replace 20 vehicles at one time. So it's important to try to stage it out, maybe 2 vehicles a year. On training, all of our deputies continue to meet state standards on completing our required trainings, and we're sending the school resource officer to the National School Resource Officer Conference, which is out of state. On safety, we are revamping the layout of the sheriff's firing range to increase safety for the people who are shooting there. And our new Sergeant, Steve Kanegi, doing a great job, wants to make sure we're meeting all the safety requirements. And so as that, several groups have been allowed to use the firing range in the past. And there was a question about if they were covered on the county insurance when they were on your property shooting guns. And maybe it wasn't set up the safest. And so we've taken care of that, and they are required to sign a MOU with Jen. And we built a new berm at the east end of the range, which is where the targets are. And in some cases, when someone fired a rifle shot at the 100-yard range, if the bullet hit just right on the railroad ties, it could go back and then damage some of the electronic equipment that flips the targets. So we built a new railroad tie wall in front, and then we just need to fill it with sand, and then that way there'll be no way for the bullets to get through. On strategic goals, I set a 4-year strategic plan, and we've completed all of that except for 3 big items. And one item is the technology piece, and we hired a company, and this happened before I came in, but I support the decision. The agencies in Custer and Fremont County are upgrading the computer system that the dispatch uses, which is called CAD, Computer Aided Dispatch. And then that ties into something the police officers use called RMS, Records Management System. And the vendor is Tyler Technologies. And they have not been doing a good job for us here in the last couple months. And our own county IT people have worked very diligently to try to overcome little technology hurdles in there. And the board of the Combined Regional Communications Association, I believe it's called, the FreeCom board voted to withhold $300,000 in payments until the vendor fixes the issues that have been coming up over the past.
And who has the contract?
This company called Tyler Technologies.
Government-wise.
The FreeCom board has it.
FreeCom.
So each county has a 911 board, and then there's a FreeCom board that oversees the actual 911 operations.
No, I understand that. I just wondered mechanics.
Yeah. And I talked to the Salida police chief, and they went to Tyler before we did, and the system works fine for them. The Colorado Springs police also went to the Tyler system a few months, maybe 6 months before we did, and they're having the same problems that we're having with Tyler as well.
Salidas is working.
And yeah, so they were I think they came on 2 years ago.
I wonder who they used as their IT
Well, the
subcontractor.
The Tyler people do it. So they do the whole thing. They got their own technology people, but something changed in between Salida and us. That's
Or Salida, Colorado Springs.
and then, so that was one of my strategic goals, is to do a better job of collecting data so we can make better business decisions. And so once that's done, this also ties into our new Custer County Sheriff website. So the citizens will be able to go and look at kind of more real-time information about what we're doing and everything. And in the past that had been manual. So as soon as that gets fixed, we can call that done. De Laurentiis was able to get us some used Toughbook computers, and the new price on those is around $6,000 per car. and he was able to get those from El Paso, Texas, like water departments. And so we have Vern and Jordan working on replacing the hard drives and upgrading the operating system to the new version, but then the deputies all have computers in the car. And then one of the other strategic goals was to achieve state accreditation, and so we're still working on doing that, and I hope to get that done right away. And then finally, we've completed the bylaws for our proposed Custer Sheriff's Office Citizen Advisory Board, and then we're currently recruiting community leaders to volunteer to advise the Sheriff's Office. And it's a small lift on their part. They would attend one quarterly meeting and then also do one ride along with the deputy to see how it is in the field. And then the final thing I'll talk about, that was our short-term strategic goals. I'll talk a little bit about the fire and then jump into some long-term goals. But on the Oak Ridge fire, we really dodged a bullet. And so it started over in Pueblo County on U.S. Forest Service property with a lightning strike of a tree. And the Forest Service tells me that that area has never had a fire in recorded history. So in excess of 100 years of no fires. And the terrain was very difficult to go through. And I talked to somebody who had said the chainsaw crew spent, all day clearing 20 feet of brush to get a trail so they could even get equipment back there. And they originally told me a worst case scenario that we could expect to have 7,000 acres burn. And that was all going to be in Custer County side in U.S. Forest Service property coming up perhaps to Highway 165. And we identified, and I sent you guys several updates for property owners whose homes would be in that area. However, they did a very good job fighting the fire. And then we had 2 incredible days of good weather where there was no wind, lots of rain, and cold temperatures. And that really helped them out. And so the current fire is sitting at 1,300 acres. And then I did sign a new delegation yesterday. So they've downsized from the complex incident team, which is their biggest kind of powerhouse they bring into a smaller one that's just going to monitor until it burns out. And so one of the commissioners came over to my office, and I have a map, much like the one in the back there of the county, and the 1,000 acres was roughly the size of my hand. And so I put my hand on the map and said, this is 1,000 acres in U.S. Forest Service property, and they're paying. And I want to say they've spent $20 million or something fighting the fire so far. They've had up to 700 personnel on the team. And while the commissioner was in there, I moved my hand and I stuck it in the middle of Rosita or in the middle of Bull Domingo, and it would be a totally different story. And what if we had a 1,000-acre fire there? We're not going to have 700 firefighters, and we can't afford $1 million a day for aircraft. The Douglas County Sheriff's Office signed an agreement with an aircraft provider, and I think all of us would agree if we get a fire on private property in Custer County, we want to get it out as quick as we can. Sometimes the Forest Service will let it burn because it's part of their overall forest management strategy, but we can't afford that inside the town. And so that's something that I would like to call in this new, I'd like to create a new 25-year strategic plan for public safety in Custer County. And this would help us as our administrations change over the next 25 years. I met with the chief of Wet Mountain Fire, chief of Wetmore Fire, board members of Wetmore Fire, Custer EMS, and also the Beulah Fire chief. And I asked them, what do you guys need right now to fight a fire? In fact, when I first got in here, Dennis Page, who's from the Forest Service, he's their fire management officer. I asked him, what do I need to worry about in Custer County? He said the wet mountains, and that turned out to be true. And he said, number 2, I need to be worried about Rosita. And so I would like to draft a plan for 25 years to meet the public safety needs of the citizens for the next 25 years and provide a roadmap for each future administration. I asked these chiefs what they need, and in fact, even at the Forest Service, the number one thing they needed is water. And in the example of Wetmore, he said he has a water tender truck, but doesn't really have enough horsepower to drive up hard scrabble. And the Wet Mountain Fire Chief is getting rid of a tender truck that doesn't have enough horsepower to kind of make it in these off-road scenarios. And then the next need they have is for something called a Type 6 brush truck. And so that's kind of the workhorse they use for these wildfires. So De Laurentiis has been tasked with finding those assets on the military surplus lists and government auctions. And we even reached out to one of the gasoline tanker truck companies that services Custer County about donating a 9,000 gallon aluminum tanker truck, which could be used by Road and Bridge in the non-fire season, but in the fire season would park it strategically and it'd be full of water. I did attend the community fire meeting last week in Beulah, and they had very good attendance. They had 150 people come and 100 people online. And then I recognized that Brittany Peterson's rep is in the audience, and he came up to me in the meeting and said, you know, what can the Congresswoman do to help us? And I mentioned this plan and our need to apply for a grant or a map of grants going forward 25 years. So he gave us some good tips, and we definitely will work with him. Our next deadline would be early spring to do something. I know the commissioners are working on a separate project, but I appreciated you showing up, so thank you, sir, for that. The Beulah Fire Department applied for and received a $7 million grant to do mitigation on their side of our county line. And I will end this, my conclusion with the commissioners is we've got to prioritize encouraging grant funding, training, or ordinances or something to help people do mitigation here in Custer County on private property. I was even brainstorming, maybe we could require a disclosure on real estate contracts. You know, if you build a house on a dump or something, you have to disclose it, and on a real estate contract say, hey, this house has mitigation, it meets a standard or it doesn't. And I don't want to sit in this seat next month or next year and we're talking about a loss of life in Custer County or a loss of homes that could have been prevented with proper fire mitigation. You guys have any questions for me?
We've already started within finance working on that and giving different options so that we can start looking at that lease, outright purchase, all that stuff, and starting to put that together. So yeah, come August, we'll start sitting down and going through that. And your department and Road and Bridge are probably the two biggest departments. So those are the two that we really need to look at the heaviest and spend the most time on. So yeah, we'll start doing that for sure.
Two comments. One would be airport strategic plan also there. We have a fuel, jet fuel truck option here. They want a base here for fires, those kinds of things, so they can go out to where the fire is and fuel up the helicopters and whatever, and other vehicles. The other piece is OEM's got a strategic plan also for fire mitigation and coordination. I'm sure you're already probably.
I am, but we've got to make it a priority for me, for OEM, for the commissioners, right. Because we can't afford a 7,000 acre fire right in the middle of private property here in Custer County. I'm glad that you're bringing the fuel truck in, and we use helicopters a lot for medical evacuations. The nearest hospital is an hour drive away. The helicopter is 20 minutes away to just get here to help our patient. And we've had several search and rescue calls, one in particular with Steve Carnegie as the pilot, where it was going to be iffy on if he had enough fuel to take the patient to the hospital. Right. So he flew up, dropped the team off, came down here, turned the helicopter off, trying to save fuel. And at the end, he was, very close to his safety margins, and he couldn't afford to leave to fly to Alamosa or Canyon to fill up with jet fuel.
There is in addition to the truck, there is a jet fuel system going to be installed in September of the year, in theory.
So that would be perfect for these long search and rescue calls.
One of the reasons we're getting that is because of the safety issues. That's one of the reasons this airport moving forward with.
Very good.
Keep in mind.
All right. Well, thank you for the opportunity to come speak with you guys.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you very much.
And then on those, I think it's important to document. I don't know where you file that paperwork that we delegated to the Forest Service.
I had one question for the sheriff.
Yes.
We have Rob Klein. Rob, I will allow it this time. We don't normally take that during our commissioner reports from them, but go ahead, sir.
Yeah, the only question I had in regards to, he was talking about leasing vehicles, possibility. What about the mileage override? You know, I think with leasing, you're only allowed so many miles before they really hit you pretty good with the fees. So that was a concern of mine. Thank you also. Appreciate it.
Sir, that's a good question. And so I asked the deputies, and we average about 200 miles per working day on the vehicle inside the county. We do have some deputies that commute from outside the county, which is an extra cost. On a busy day, which would include like running down to San Isabel area, it could be 400 miles in one day of work. So those are very good questions that need to be considered. Those posse trucks, my goal is to have them not parked in the parking lot, but out patrolling the county and helping. And so that's another way that the miles rack up. So that's something we definitely need to consider. So thank you very much, sir. Appreciate that.
Okay.
Thanks, Rich.
Rich, thank you. Virginia.
Good morning. Got good news?
It's just what it is.
But it's not good news, it's not bad news.
Yeah, it's just news. You want to look at it?
You got an extra, I don't know.
No, okay. She gets to look at it later. Self-insurance is looking better.
Yeah, when are we gonna get that 202,000 back from the state?
Or,
There's a refund that they owe us for?
don't know anything about it.
Okay.
What's it for?
They withheld money that they weren't supposed to, or that they owe us, so JD knows about it.
I don't know. Nobody's told me.
Okay, I'll get with him again. That, we're gonna then take that money,
Put it in there.
put it in there, so then
Backfill it.
that'll backfill it, and then that'll front end it, load it for next year.
Yeah.
So, okay. No, cool, thank you.
I move we accept Virginia's report.
I'll second.
Okay, so I have a motion on the floor to accept the monthly treasurer's report for May of 2024. Any discussion?
None for me, sir.
All right. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries.
Making notes. So don't forget what I tell people.
All right.
Thank you, lady.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Virginia.
See you later.
Bye.
Brad.
Good morning.
Morning.
Ma'am,
Good morning.
how are you? Gentlemen? Brad. Morning. Okay, short and sweet this time. For the year, just, we've got what, 55% of the year going. I'm sitting at using 32% of my budget. So we are well under budget. I've got 108,118 remaining. We spent 52,000 so far out of 160,000 budget. So we're at 32% for the year. So I think we're doing great there. We attended the June conference for the Coroners Association of the state,
And they elected new board members. There are 12 members on the board for the Colorado Coroners Association. I was elected to that board this year, and the new board elected me to be one of the executive board members. So I'm now serving as treasurer for the Colorado Coroners Association. I'm one of 4 coroners on the executive board now, so I'll serve as,
Congratulations.
thank you, serve a 2-year term there. And all else I've got is year-to-date deaths. And as of when I wrote this Monday, we've had 6 natural deaths, 1 suicide, no homicides, no accidents, and no undetermineds. And then we had 1 medically assisted death, which was a steep learning curve for me. I had to make a few phone calls in a hurry, and it was prescribed by 2 doctors for a terminal patient. And I honestly didn't even know that was legal in Colorado, but it has for the last 3 years. So we got through it okay with a little advice, and no issues there. And then Monday evening, I did have another, and gentleman passed, and I've sent him for autopsy, so I'm awaiting results, so I don't know which category he's going to end up in. But, and I'm not going to speculate, so we will see how that one comes out. So we're going to be up 1 more as of today. So that is all I got for you guys.
Well, short and sweet.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
I can gladly answer any questions.
Okay.
But,
No, thank you.
okay. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Brad.
Pleasure. Alma? Sam? Have a great day.
You got ma'am twice there.
He's sucking up.
And
If anybody needs a copy of that, I can email it to you guys. If you give me
We got it.
got it, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
All right.
Generation X.
That will take us to our staff reports, and so your road and bridge is going to be your written report. Got a long ways to go. We've got a lot of stuff today, Kelly.
Sorry.
Just for your information, the 2 VMS boards have come back from the Wetmore area that were being used for information on the fire. One came back yesterday and one came back this morning. And they are patching. Right now, they're mag supplier out of Florence. They're still trying to track down their train cars of materials, so they haven't figured out where they are at yet. So that's on hold, and they're patching at the present time. And in regards to that email you sent me, I will get with Road and Bridge on that, and I'll drive out there and look at it. Could you drive out there and look at it?
Yeah, I need to.
Where is that?
Matterhorn Circle and Larkspur.
I believe they started some drainage there. There needs to be a lot of major work done out there to get that water going where it's supposed to go.
Yeah.
But I see that they're getting disgruntled or
Probably a little disgruntled, a little impatient. I mean, we of course, we waited on UCIS. And I tried to get the 10 or 15 of them that I saw in Cheyenne all within a 3-block radius to come down here, but yeah. Anyway, We probably need to put some pressure on that as a board to help out getting those hurdles cleared.
Okay.
So.
Got a crusher.
And it
coming
is,
in.
and it is I mean, it's a catch-22, right? So they don't come out within the 3 to 5 days, or we give them a week, and then we cut phone lines, or we hit a phone line. It's just a rough deal. Because we don't want to fix the roads, we want to fix the stuff, but we don't want to, at the same time, we don't want to cut any utilities that people need as well, so.
And we're required to have those, and yet they don't provide the service, so, and when they do come out, they won't do, you might be doing 3 miles of road in a day, or, with your different operators or something, and then, they won't locate that much.
So we need to put some pressure on them ourselves, so.
Vince get his crusher scheduled yet? For sure.
He talked to them again on Monday. We're coming out this week. That was what it was last week as well. I guess he's only down the road at Cypher's Pit, but I don't know why they have not made the move yet.
I saw a lot of smoke out of there 2 days ago when I drove by
So
Cypher's Pit. So they were working.
maybe they had some downtime and they haven't got finished up with that job yet or something, but they keep saying we're on our way and we're coming, but they haven't shown up yet.
Good.
Anything else on Road and Bridge?
Yeah,
All right.
jump to the airport.
Yeah, we can do that.
Come on up, Clyde. You say Clyde.
Morning, Clyde.
Good morning.
Oh, I'm gonna be short and sweet today too. My name's Clyde Butler, the airport manager. Fuel report's pretty simple this month. We didn't purchase any fuel. We sold 492 gallons. We have 5,279 left. The fuel revenue was $2,917.43. And our fuel price remains at $5.92 a gallon. Pressure won't be changed for another 11 months. The differential pressure is fine. We still have a new filter in stock. And the good news is finally preventive maintenance services came and finished repainting the runway and the taxiways.
Looks pretty good from the road.
It does. So that job is done. We received an invoice from them on July the 8th. It's only $1,154. We'll get that taken care of, I guess.
Did you get a chance to paint the other half of the numbers?
No.
Or they only painted the half that needed painted and not the whole?
That's right. All they did, and Armstrong Engineering bought off on this, inspected it and approved it, but all they did was they painted over where the snowplow had plowed the paint off stripes. So it might need to be done again next winter. I don't know. I hope not. Our AWAS is functioning normally. All our windsocks are in good condition. Weather cams are all functioning normally. When Bernie gets time, we still have a security camera that needs to be replaced.
Okay.
But it's just inside the garage, the maintenance facility, so it's not a big deal.
Oh, it's the one inside the garage?
Yeah.
I thought it was the one pointing to the southeast.
You're probably talking about the camera that points out toward the fuel system in the south to the west. That is actually only available on the website. That is not one of the federal cameras.
Oh, okay.
The ones I'm talking about are the ones that the FAA gave us.
Okay. So it's the one inside the garage.
Yeah. And as far as the county-owned equipment is going, the tractor is fully functional, brush hog is attached and is working good. The Craftsman mower is in the shop at the small engine shop in Silver Cliff. I expect that probably take another week to get that fixed. Skid steer is fully functional. Both Cordista cars are doing fine. And one of these days, we got to get around to fixing the fuel gauge on the Yukon.
You knew you were gonna say that.
And that's all I have for now, unless you guys have some questions.
Ready for the air show?
Pretty close to being ready, yeah.
Got a lot of nice PR, we'll keep passing it around.
Yeah,
From around town.
that's the biggest thing that happens out there every year.
That's a good deal.
Bill, are you borrowing a new plane to give rides in?
We'll find it, we'll find it. Not buying it.
I'm working as hard as I can to have mine ready for Airfest.
That'd be nice, that'd be great.
Yeah, I think so too.
Well, do the Huffmans still have a slightly used one for sale, or did it go away?
I sold that one. Yeah.
Unsold, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that one and all.
Yeah, I thought Bill was gonna get a new plane.
That would be nice.
Well, he missed his chance.
Yeah. Well, there's always next year. No, thank you, Clyde.
Anything for you?
Oh,
Thank
one
you.
other thing I did mention, I know that you at least talked with Brian about this, the fill dirt we're going to need to build the pad
That's
for
one out.
the jet fuel tank, and I think that's been settled that Custer, Road and Bridge can haul the fill dirt for us.
What he said.
Then we have to get somebody else to do the actual preparation. Just want to make sure I understood it right. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Unless something breaks loose county-wise.
Yeah.
He's busy.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Dorothy?
Good morning.
Good morning.
It is busy in our department. Let me just start with that. So this past month in June, we did 13 septic inspections, 9 special conferences, 9 compliance inspections, so we closed out 9 different structures, 1 violation review, and we gave 1 septic contractor test. Our contractor list is growing. It seems to grow a little bit every month. It does appear that our building permits or the zoning permits are increasing. Last year, we had 12 septic permits, and this year, for the month of June, we issued 16. So hopefully, it looks like it's starting to pick up a little bit. Dwellings, we had 2 last year, and we had 12 this month, so that was quite an increase. I'm checking on that number because we were on iWork, and I need to make sure that that number is correct. It seems a little low to me. I just have not had a chance to validate that number, and I will do that and let you guys know next time if that number is off. It just seems funny to me. Accessory buildings or non-dwelling buildings, we had 10 compared to 8 last year. So our total zoning permits issued, not including the septics on that total, we're up 12 permits. So year to date, we're starting to get where we were last year. So last year we were at 75 septic permits. This year we're at 55. The dwellings this year we're at 44. Last year we were at 61. And accessory buildings, this month we're at our So far this year, we're at 76. Last year, we're at 101. So overall, we're down. We were at 120 this year, and we're at 162 last year. Our financials, if you look at those, and I apologize, I didn't add 2024 to that report. June this year, we are sitting at, not including the state septic surcharge, that pass-through money that goes back to the state, we're at $58,231.15. Last year in June, we were at $61,182.95. So we're pretty close to what we were last year. So hopefully we still continue to see that. Right now, we are working on compliance issues. We have, our phone rings and we have 3 or 4 complaints from residents a day. And I have a stack on my desk of probably 25 files. Yesterday, we had 2 call-ins about illegal STRs. So I am addressing those 2 issues. And since that, I don't go into VRBO or Airbnb on a consistent basis and monitor that. But since I was in there, I looked. We have a total of 7 illegal STRs. So I'm working on addressing those individuals right now, in addition to other issues that we have. Some are big issues with the septic.
Have you seen them before, the same names?
2 of them. 2 of them we address every year. So that's really it. It's just been keeping busy doing, with the day-to-day, the walk-ins have been the traffic has been very heavy in the office, so we're just trying to keep our heads above water.
No, and I've gotten a lot more calls too, so I've tried to refer those all to calling you and letting you know.
About issues?
Either STRs or people living in campers or.
Dumping.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think we're seeing more and more of it pop up.
I try to address, I try to go through each day when I start my day and prioritize which are the worst issues, and some things just keep getting pushed to the bottom, but we're working on them one at a time.
No, I understand.
Given.
How many STRs do we have that are permitted?
I don't know that number off the top of my head. I believe it was 52 last year, and so we add 60 or so. Yeah, we're 60, right around 60 plus.
So a quick question for you, because of how many people are coming in and through your office right now. You're going to be flying solo here the week of the 22nd and the week of the 29th. Is that correct? When Elena is gone with her daughter.
It is coming up, yes.
So,
Surprised you.
I knew it was coming up, but I didn't.
Yeah, so I don't know if you need to, because then if you're out in inspections and whatnot, you're locked up. I didn't know if you had thought about that in advance here, and I apologize, I'm springing it on you here at the last second, but do you have anything in place to help you out?
I do not.
there?
I do not. I don't know what my options are.
Yeah, because we haven't got anybody that's been cross-trained in there or anything, so. Mike,
How many days?
she's gonna be gone in a week and a half.
6 days.
It makes for a very, very long, even one day when you're in there by yourself. So what that basically means, I'll be up at the front desk all day, and what I work on will not even get touched. Maybe a little at the end, in the beginning of my day.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there'd be a way for you to get at least somebody to field the calls coming in, and which would take part of that load off.
Summer's a hard time for one of us to take off.
Depending on what, I mean, we could offer Mike Chesser just to answer phone calls, and if, depending on where we're at with him, so.
I might be able to help you with one.
Oh,
Ladies and gentlemen.
We might, yeah, I guess if we can maybe all put our heads together and maybe get you some help in there to kind of help you through that time. I would hate for you to be just totally snowed under.
I won't have any hair left by the end of that week and a half.
I used to have a really cool wig I could bring to you, but it finally got so grody I had to throw it out.
I mean, it can be done, but the office will suffer with our service to the community.
So that's one of the things we need to address, is because we've always wanted to get more cross-training and get our different offices for situations like this, but we just haven't got any.
Any suggestions you guys have, just let me know.
Yeah, we should probably start working with the assessor, because that's the office that probably works the most with her.
I know that they all have vacation planned, but I don't know about that specific time because they were trying to use up their vacations.
Well, that might just coordinate that. Assessor and whoever, Kelly, come up with a phone tree or something.
The assessor's office would be great if he has the extra. I don't know if he does.
Yeah, I don't know either. But that, they are at least more so looking at the same things you're kind of looking at. So cross-training somebody, maybe that's, I don't know, we need to look at that.
Just let me know.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions?
You got something, Laura?
I just wanted to say this, JD's gonna be gone from July 23rd through sometime in August. So that's gonna leave them short staffed up there.
Fun. Awesome.
Well, as long as somebody takes a call, makes a note, somebody wants a permit or something, just, that'll help. Should give you the list and you can decide how you want it.
And as long as they have everything with the permit, it can actually be issued at a later time. I mean, I can say, it's very fortunate that we issue our permits the same time you walk in the door. Very few zoning departments are able to do that, so.
Getting stuff on Q Public, that's a project we need to plan for around staff that might be more available during the winter time, right?
Yes, in the grant that I applied for, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed, I did put in the grant to cover for one additional employee in my office to do that particular project.
Okay.
So
Just for that project?
Just for that project, but that's gonna be a 2-3 year project to get all that online. So I, in the grant, I put in for 2 years worth of salary and benefits. If that goes through, we'll have that. I don't think I'd be able to use that person like in this type of situation, but they would have to be trained on certain things so they can look stuff up and make sure everything's closed and.
Okay. Yeah, you could probably use them to look up the information when a real estate agent calls.
Absolutely.
But you'd have to watch what we do with that first. Because we need to get that project done. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Yep, you too.
Thanks.
See you next time.
Yep, thank you.
Brian. How are you doing?
All right, how are you?
Oh, busy.
Too busy.
Yeah.
That's why you don't have a written report. I didn't have time to do it. But, so,
Yeah, busy. We got the scraper last week, so I've been spending all my time in that. Well, not all my time, but a lot of the time. So that's going on. Compactor still broke down. Hopefully by the end of this week, I'm hoping that we might get that back running. This time of year, it's super busy. Yesterday, we did like $7,200 one day. And that was just because of certain circumstances, but anyway, it's just a hectic time of the year for us. But, the new compactor has been ordered. I talked to Chad Parker when I talked to him yesterday, and maybe October. We're trying to get it pushed up. So, and Suzanne Kreider with the bank, she is waiting to get the VIN number for that machine before they do get the loan documents set up. They need that number. And Chad Parker's leaving the country, so I'm not sure what that's looking like. I might have to, I don't know. So anyway, we're still trying to get that number.
Your purchase drove, put him over the limit, so he had to take
Yeah.
vacation, right?
Yeah, he's going somewhere over Europe, I think. But- So anyway, hopefully we'll get that this month, get those documents on.
Yeah, and let me know when we're ready.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see, what else? Oh,
When do we get our payloader back from John? Right now?
oh, that's a good question. I need to call them. It's down there, right? Yeah. And I haven't heard back from them. So they're still working on that hydraulic issue with the pump, I believe. They don't know what it is, unfortunately. Kind of seems to be the situation. It's so new that they don't know.
It'll be even more fun now that John Deere's going to switch all their manufacturing.
Oh, really?
Mexico. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So they're shutting down most of their manufacturing capabilities.
Well, at least we got ours already. But, yeah, so it needs to be fixed, and they can't seem to figure it out, so okay. I'll call them today. Because we could use it.
Yeah.
Because we're scraping, and we need to stockpile material, so 2 loaders would be beneficial.
We get the other loader up running.
Yep.
So the old ones.
Yep, it's still okay.
Cranking away.
Yep. We had to use road and bridge dozer yesterday because we had so much trash. So we had 2 dozers going. And I mean, I hate to use that thing because it just gets it so dirty, but we had no choice. So I'll clean it best I can, wash it before we return it to them.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, it's a lot easier to run than that old one, as you probably know.
Oh, it's pretty nice, yeah. A little smoother too.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's it, unless you guys have anything for me or questions or.
You didn't see a crusher showing up when you
No.
got around, did you?
I've been waiting to see it come in there, but I haven't seen it. Oh, and next report, I'll try to remember to give you guys the landfill totals. I meant to do it this month, and it just didn't have time. That basically tells us how much money we've made, how much cubic yards we've gotten, a bag, trash, how many cars, trucks, trash trucks, all that. So, oh, I did send that report to the state for the second quarter. Okay. And also the net DMR, which is discharge monitoring reports for the EPA. I sent those today too. Those are for the outfall, for the 6 trenches that were originally the first landfill out there. For the water leaves landfill, you're required to sample it if it discharges. And we haven't had a discharge since. They can't make you sample it if you're not working. So if it rains and it discharges while we're not working, you're not required to sample it. So, but if it does rain and you're there, you got to sample it and then send it to the lab. And then, so anyway, those are sent. So everything's good.
Anything back from Jill on the final one?
I have not. I need to call her and the engineers too, because we've got to get the 2024 totals for the calculations for how many cubic yards. So that will include the expansion. But until we have that final, where the berm is going to go, Boulder or WSP, they won't know the calculations until we actually have that final plan and survey done. So I'll call them today too. I forgot about that. And then also the financial assurance, once the audit, not the final one, but like the, what do you call it, the first draft or whatever.
Right.
I'll get the numbers from that, and I'll get the financial assurance sent out to the state. I talked to Sam, he should have all those numbers figured out.
Oh, yeah, because we're not only waiting on the area fill plan, but the 5-year plan. That's all.
That's,
combined
yeah,
into
correct.
one.
So the 5-year calculations, you only have to do it once every 5 years.
Yeah.
And so, but since it's 2024, we'd like to include the expansion area fill. I mean, we can do the first 3 trenches, but I mean, we gotta do it for the area fill, so. I'll call them, make sure we get that planned. Just another thing on the list, better make a list.
It's growing, the longer you sit there. it's-
Yeah, sticky notes, right? Yeah, I still gotta send the trench cap letters to Jill too, I keep forgetting that, but that's pretty easy to do. So this is basically the status on your trenches as far as the caps go. But since she was delaying our EDOP, I might delay the, no.
Doesn't work that way, does it?
No,
Unfortunately.
that's all I got, I guess.
No, thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian.
Yeah, brand new one. Break out the computer.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Better you need to Okay, we will take a short recess.
Oh, no, see?
Here, we give you time to hobble
After
out.
you, we're taking a recess. Thank you for noticing that.
If you take your time, just come
Yeah.
up here, sit down carefully.
Now I'm gonna go see Jen for a second. If we're gonna take a minute, I just need her to print this report. So I will tell her, and then she can print it, and then I'll go in it. How's that?
Coffee back here.
All right, the time is now 10:14 a.m. I will reconvene this Custer County Board of Commissioners meeting. Next item on our, before we go to the next item, Justin would like to give us a short presentation. He did not make the agenda, but he was going to use public comment, but has a time commitment. I was wondering if we could amend the agenda at this time and allow him to speak after Human Services.
Yeah. Sure.
All right. So we will get you up here in just a minute, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Next item on. should be,
Actually, that makes him suffer a little long.
We're going to go
Earn it.
ahead and go to Human Services at this time, and then we'll move to Justin.
Okay, I sent you guys my reports. I don't know if you guys have any questions about those. They're pretty standard reports. Right now, I don't have too much going on. Oh, I forgot to look that up before I came over. I did submit our new energy outreach grant, and I submitted it for $10,000. That's what I did last year. We got 6. We'll see what they give us this year. Part of that is because if it's Black Hills, they have a separate pot of money. So if somebody has a shut off when it's Black Hills, it does not come out of our 6,000. We have roughly about 6,000 left to get us through until October. It goes through September of 2024. So yes, but we have our CSBG grant, which we have been using. And we had 6,000 and something to use by the end of September. This month, where's my CSBG grant? It's in here somewhere. But in this month, we had a lot going on in CSBG. Did I not bring my, didn't I get my, oh, what the heck?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. I don't see it either. And I know I did it. But anyhow, we had 4 applications this month. And 2 of them for $2,000, and well, 2 of them for $1,000 apiece, because I can only go up to $1,000. So we did over 3,000 this month alone. So we're down to 2,000 and something. So we should probably use that all up for the end of September too. And CSBG is telling us that we're going to get more money in September, but we don't know how much. And I won't know with EOC yet until about September how much we're going to get for that. And those are the only 2 we have for emergency services at this time.
So the needs are going up.
Yeah, we did help 2 people with, 3 people with either rent or mortgage payments. And all of those were over $1,000, so we can only go up to 1,000. And then the other one was a propane fill for somebody. And that's what I use my CSBG for, because EOC is a funny thing. We get money quarterly, and if we didn't get our quarterly money until July, so we didn't have enough money to do any of that out of EOC. And then I only have a little bit left anyhow. They do it that way. They break it out. We get the bulk of it in the beginning, and then we get little tiny quarters, the rest of it. And it's very hard because you never know for sure how much money you have left in that quarter. You have to be an Einstein to figure that out. I mean, we're like, come on, there's got to be a different way to do that. But anyhow, but we've got some money, but we think it's only about $600 left in that grant to get us through till, October. Okay, do you have any questions on that?
Yeah, you had a pretty good jump in your transportation.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. We had a lot more people using Medicaid transportation this month too. And so just more trips are being scheduled. So yeah, we saw a jump in that. Our old age pension, if you look at that one's kind of a weird one too, because we issued to 25 households, and the month before we issued 5,346, and in June we did 29,296 for 25 households. That's because it's, the old age pension does MOE, maintenance of effort, and they do it in June, where they give everybody, if they have money kind of left over statewide, then they give everybody an additional lump sum. They gave them they gave them $928 this month. So anybody that was on the old age pension got another $928. So that's why that's so high this month. It'll go back down, but that's why that looks weird. We didn't add any more people, or, it was just that MOE that comes. We have to keep an eye on that, because sometimes when they automatically do that, it messes with the cases, and it'll overpay them or it'll underpay them. So we have to run an exception report to make sure none of that happens. But anyhow, it went pretty smooth this year. Last year, not so much. But anyhow, so if you see that looking weird, that's what that's about. It's the end of the fiscal year for the state, so they want all kinds of reports and things about everything, but that's just a normal thing that goes on at the end of the fiscal year. Let's see. Now, my big question to you guys, do you know anything about doing something with my window? I got to bring that up every time.
That's fine. You keep bringing it up till I get it
it's
figured
gonna
out.
come out. It's this lady and I fought to get her driver's license back to her because it kept getting stuck in the lip. I was just like, I'm just gonna open the door and walk it out to you here in a minute. But I was just wondering, did you find out anything? Okay.
Just prop your door.
Well, pretty much, yeah.
We'll get something changed right after you get used to what you got.
I don't think that's ever gonna happen. We fight to get papers through there constantly. It's just crazy. And then, not this Friday, but the Friday before, I came in on Friday, and when I got up to the door, I could hear this noise, and I opened the door, and before I even got it open very far, that alarm was going off. Then I got in there, and I couldn't shut it off. There were people at the front door, and I don't know if they were doing something about the time I showed up, but I couldn't get it to go off. She came in about that time, and came in and opened the back door. I think not only did you open it, you came in it, because I opened it and closed it, but I didn't go back out. And she was finally able to get it to shut off. So it's like the other day, I thought, I should go in there and get something. I thought, I'm not going in there. I'm not going to fight with that alarm. I'm not going to have that go off. Alexis was here last night and left for something and came back or something. I don't know, but the alarm went off again. So it was because she was in here after 7.
She probably hit that.
Yeah, she probably hit that thing, but I don't know. It's been a little bit better. We haven't set it off as much, but I don't know, it's just crazy.
Either we're learning or it's learning.
But that was weird that day, because I didn't even get the door, I didn't even get in before that thing was gone, but there was people at the front door, and I don't know if it saw the motion, I don't know what set it off, but it was going crazy. Okay, that's all I have. Oh, Alexis did your little presentation about differential response last in Wetmore?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
And the 17th.
And the 17th, that's that one, yeah, at Lane Hall, okay?
Yep.
Okay,
Sounds good.
alrighty then, I'll let you guys go.
It's been a pleasure as usual, sorry,
Oh,
Dan.
yeah, he wants something, I can tell, See, I'm trying to be quick. You're welcome, bye.
Prefer me here, I take it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
You're up.
All right, thank you all. Thank you. Welcome.
Good to see you again.
Thank you for accommodating. The first piece is why I asked, why you were kind enough to allow me to go a little early, is that we'll be holding mobile office hours. I'll be holding mobile office hours at the Kirkpatrick Bank today from 11 to 1 in their conference room there. I think KLZR has the representative will be there. That is not the case. She's hired me to be her full-time representative in the area. And when she is down here, I'll try to make sure everybody here knows in advance. If I didn't say so at the beginning, I'll say it for the record. My name is Justin Kurth, the Regional Director for Congresswoman Brittany Pedersen, based out of the Canyon City office where I work full-time for her there. couple of ways we're returning some tax dollars to the community. You may have heard about the Silvercliff Town Plaza. It's $1.3 million secured for property that would be mixed-use development, commercial and residential property. That's an approved project that's come out of the Congress and has seen the president's signing. The one that's in line for request right now and has achieved one benchmark, and we're waiting to see, I think it needs to go through the House Appropriations Committee first to really be feeling too confident about it yet. It's the water and sewer infrastructure for affordable housing in Westcliff, to the tune of $1 million that would develop about 6 entire blocks of Westcliff for water and sewer. The second to last here I'll touch on is that, yeah, as the sheriff mentioned earlier, attended the Oak Ridge Fire Community event. The reason why you see folks like us attending those events is, and specifically why this office tries to be engaged there, is because when there's an opportunity for, let's say, federal agencies and local agencies to need maybe a connecting tissue between them to say, you know, something's not translating from local to federal, we're happy to be that connecting tissue and say, you know, so I'll use a real world example. In another fire in 2023, I was able to, the congresswoman had me go to another fire, said, you know, basically look around, listen around, where can we be engaged, what can we help with? Found a point of engagement, reached out to the chief of the U.S. Forest Service, and came about a resolution on an issue that was coming up between the locals and federal agencies. So we're not just there to take up oxygen, we're actually there to do the work that we can. We admire the firefighters and their efforts. We're just trying to assist where we can. So, and then the last thing I'll touch on is grant letter support. The sheriff also mentioned that you may be reaching out regarding that. I encourage you all or any of your departments to reach out if you have a federal grant you're pursuing and you would like a letter of support from the congresswoman that would maybe encourage the grant producer to maybe choose you as that recipient. We're happy to provide that letter of support, case by case basis. That is what I have to offer you today. I think I've kept it under 3 minutes.
There you go.
You did good. You did good.
We're going to use you as a model for everybody.
Happy to do that. Any questions for me though in the meantime?
So if you want to be on the agenda again, just give me a call.
Okay, I'll reach out to you, and the clerk provided me her email as well, so I'll reach out to any or both. And thank you for that.
Yeah, no, appreciate that.
Any other questions before I leave?
A cup of coffee.
I'm going to hang tight, because I have, now that you've gotten me in, and I've kept it under 3 minutes. I'm going to listen for a few more, and then I'll head over to Kirkpatrick.
Okay.
So, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Justin.
Madam Clerk, thank you.
I want to hear Dennis. Dennis has been sitting back there.
Patient.
Really patient, yeah.
Supposed to be, probably supposed to be quiet, right? Can't interject comments.
Well, you're doing a great job.
You could.
Supposed to.
Recycling, you do have a report on them. Find that. We'll get to you as soon as we can.
Yeah, recycling year to date, 145 bales of all materials produced. Prices are pretty much maintaining the same. 110 per ton for cardboard, 70 for mixed paper, 50 cents a pound for aluminum, 130 per ton for steel.
Okay.
Any other questions either? Like the murals on the 4th of July.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So we'll see if we can get the rest of them painted and sanded, painted, and muraled up, the rest of the trailers. We do need to talk about, and I'll try to work this out with recycling and road and bridge and whoever else, but we've got to move those gates, and we gotta put a fence in if we're gonna leave the recycle trailers out there to
That's
that.
true, so they can get in.
So nobody but who's supposed to gets back there to that fire testing station for the fire department, so we need to get that figured out, and then we probably need to put up a plastic snow fence around there so it grabs the trash.
Yeah, that's true.
So, because otherwise that blows out. And then
Get
starts
any
collecting
complaints
around
on
their
there?
stuff. About a month, about a complaint a month, so. So we need to get something done there, so I'll talk to the guys out at Recycle.
And would they be able to use volunteers to do the fencing if we could get, maybe we could bring somebody at Road and Bridge to get the gate post set?
We possibly can, yeah. So.
And then have to locate.
Yeah, so.
I can talk to Vince and see about that, as well. And then, probably need to, are you wanting to go straight across with that fence there on the trailer side and go straight to that other line fence, or do you want to go and corner it again back to the fence line down
I
the
would
road?
say whatever makes it the easiest, shortest distance.
Probably be easiest just to move that whole fence line away from the road and take it straight across from the gate. And then,
Then go straight alongside the road on the north side.
yeah.
No, that's what I was planning on doing, so then that's pretty well straight, two straight sections of that fence. And I can go out there with Tim and we could just paint a line. And where it's gonna think that needs to be.
Too bad the airport didn't have an auger for that skid steer.
Yeah. We'll
I don't
gladly
think- I
buy
don't think
one.
Road and Bridge has one either, so I'd make that,
Um,
can be done with tobacco easy enough, with less mess if we have it.
Anyway, so we do need to probably get that started sometime.
Good.
I'll start having, Lisa do a finance report, written finance report. So I'll talk to her about that for these meetings.
Okay.
IT's is written too.
Okay, so right now, today, we don't have a finance, correct?
No, we don't.
And IT is in here. Everybody good on the, recycling then?
Yep.
Let's see, the IT.
It's not in the packet. You
It's up
send it to
above.
me.
Okay, fair enough, go ahead with that, then you have a hard copy there, right?
Yeah, so we're still working with the VPN troubleshooting for the Tyler, like Sheriff said, so we're trying to help out Tyler get it to communicate. We got 10 of those tough books set up for the Sheriff's office. And then that's been probably Jordan's biggest project, is getting those computers refurbished for the Sheriff's office vehicles. And then we've got a new IT ticket system going, and that's working better, so they can track those better, so.
Yeah, he was showing me that he had that set up, and then I made a phone call, and then I got a ticket on my email. So, well, I will track those a lot better, so. Anything else on that?
Nothing from me.
Dominic.
You gonna be here, you did it.
Is back. I don't know, he could be. Could have somebody in his office who did be.
What's that?
Can I make a fishing map?
I'll send him a quick text. You wanna stick your head out the door and, call Robin, she can come in? And then we can put him in after her.
Good morning.
Kevin.
Good
morning. We got Robin.
Hey, Robin.
You would be, I'll put you in right after.
How you doing?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Good. Yeah.
I appreciate it. Okay, he'll be here after Robin.
Did you forget?
Didn't say. Well,
Well,
good morning.
Good morning. Of course, Oak Ridge Fire has been a big thing for the last few weeks, started June 22nd. It's over 1,300 acres now, still 500 personnel demobbing, and they're transitioning back to a type 3 team. So the Rocky Mountain team, I think, did a really good job. They did public information, as you know, at the post office. I think that was super popular. Every time I drove by there, everybody was looking at that board, looking at the map, so I think that was excellent. We had 2 VMS signs and worked with partner agencies to put an unstaffed roadblock on 387. I think it was staffed one afternoon and there wasn't a lot of traffic.
Are those barricades still down there, or did they get picked up?
I will check on that. I'll check on the logistics of both that and the signs.
I didn't go all the way up there when I grabbed the VMS.
Okay, I will double check, but I'm pretty sure we've gotten those down. We also were doing a lot of updates. PIO Chesser went to a fire meeting and Jennifer went to the community meeting in Beulah. So they're scaling back on all the services now. No more cooperator meetings unless they start those again, but 76% contained. Haven't noticed much smoke, even though they're still doing the advisory. Any questions on the fire? Okay. All right, grants. We did get a reimbursement on EMPG for first quarter, so we're getting a little bit more efficient, making sure we get our grant dollars in sooner rather than later. That was a kind of an audit thing about when did you get these payments in for, usually it happens at the end of the fiscal year when it goes into the new year. It's when it's a little more problematic. We have not gotten any final word on our projects for the Homeland Security grants, but we had some preliminary results and then there were some changes, so I don't know. But it looks positive for at least some type of 100% Homeland Security grant. CoSwap is our Colorado mitigation team workforce grant, and that was contracted in May, and working with Vernon on getting all of our new codes in the budget lines, as we are going to be able to add some personnel costs into that grant, so defraying the county personnel. So that'll be good. So this is kind of where we want to be with grants, so that some of the salary and personnel costs can be paid by grants. That will necessitate doing a log of time each week for the different grants so that EMPG doesn't think we're going to be claiming all of the hours for that. So we have a draft flyer on the mitigation team, working with Dominic and Christy on that, and worked with Bob yesterday on the reading from CTSI about whether the mitigation volunteers would be covered under workman's comp. And we have plans to have the commitment form that they sign have verbiage that Bob has approved to be in there regarding workman's comp, and they will be considered statutory volunteers. And that was kind of our question, because basically the posse is a statutory volunteer because it's in our Colorado state statutes. But because it's fire related, and working with Bob, they had CTSI send a little ruling about the fact that even in exercises and pre-training, they would be considered statutory volunteers. So that's a good resolution on that. I do have another kind of a commitment and liability form from COSWAP that I would like to run by. I'll send it to you on email. Just it's kind of a code of conduct for the ambassador program. Just, you know, if somebody's on somebody's property, that'd probably be a good idea that you do have that code of conduct, and that we keep that information confidential, that we're not, you know, spreading that information around and that. So, and it talks about liability, things like that. So I think Bob's comfortable with where we're at with those workman comp type issues. Any questions? Okay. We've been attending training. Jennifer is taking the Basic Emergency Management Academy, and she chose to do this with an online format. It is 4 week-long classes, so it's a pretty big commitment, and they put them in groups and so forth online, so she's still getting a quality experience, but that's taking a lot of time for the academy, but she's getting a lot out of it. And then I attended a CU outreach for high school, middle school wildfire curriculum training for educators. So I'll be working with Jennifer and the school on if we can incorporate some of that into ecology, science class. Very interesting. They're just trying to bring the youth along, and what we call is trying to kind of get that out there about the culture of preparedness. So when you grow up with that kind of thing, then you're more likely to carry that over into, you know, preparing for finances, preparing for disasters, etc. So really cool curriculum. It's kind of a game format. We're seeing a lot more of that going on now, and people love that because they're learning, but they're kind of on the game. Just miscellaneous things. We did attend the Wetmore Open House June 5th. We had a successful booth at Family Fun Day, reached a lot of young families again, you know, starting early with the kids and asking them preparedness questions and then giving prizes. So that was really that's been a great outreach for us. We had a damage assessment viewing of Crisis Track. There was a webinar, and we brought together Dorothy and Isaac from Silver Cliff as planning and zoning folks that would be handling damage assessment. So we watched that all together and talked about what we needed to do to get onto that website, etc. We also went to a cyber exercise in Fremont, and Jordan also went with us from IT, and he's also submitted now the CrowdStrike cybersecurity grant, and that'll be funding for that program for 25 and 26. So ongoing funding for that. that's great. Also want to let you know that we have authorized the truck repairs in Canyon City, as the reading that we got was that it was unlikely that FEMA would allow us to apply our insurance settlement on a new vehicle since it was repairable. So we decided to go forward on the repairs. So that's underway. We do have our continuous emergency services and LEPC meetings. Those are the third Thursday. We also had a first communications radio subcommittee meeting. And so we need to encourage all of the departments that have radios to be a part of this group. So I'll be doing some more individual outreach for folks that have radios that didn't attend the first meeting. The next one will be July 18th. It's the same day. And then we'll be focusing on our after action reports and exercises over the past year or so, making sure that we're following through on things that we have found to be gaps or improvements needed, and go forward on some of those things. We'll continue to work on our salamander badging, credentialing, and inventory, and we'll get our plan for training on the ICS 100 classes in concert with our badging and credentialing. Any questions?
I'm gonna get with you later date or something. Not a big thing, but might need to change some of the lettering on those VMS boards.
Oh,
So,
it's not fully.
we were using V's for U's on there and stuff, and it works, but I thought we might want to stick the proper stickers on there. Just where they're ID'd for as Custer County.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So when they're gone and deployed somewhere, everybody knows whose sign it is.
Well, I put the stickers on there because there weren't any on there, so sorry that I used
just happened to notice that
V
since I
for
brought them
you.
back here.
So Custer CV, it was kind of we ran out of U's, I think.
Yeah.
Because it was Custer had a U and county had a U. But yeah, and they are numbered.
They don't give you very many U's in a packet.
No, they don't. Or they probably
So-
cut the D's down into C's too. But I will definitely check.
All right, I appreciate it. It's not really an issue, I just happened to notice it, so. I thought it'd be nice to have the right ones on there.
Sure.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, thanks.
Yeah.
We're good.
And those are all back in the shop yard over here,
Okay, great.
all three of them.
Okay, thank you very much for helping us out. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
See you next month, folks.
Okay,
Robin, thank you.
thank you.
Dominic.
Good morning.
You're running ahead of schedule today. Yeah, we are.
Let me know when you're ready.
Last. Last off.
All right. So I was in the office every day last week, so 16 operating days, I was in there every day. 56 scheduled appointments, had 5 no-shows, and I did 1 home visit. The home visit was actually a veteran that was in a nursing home in Canyon that I'd been notified was not being treated well, which was not the case when I got up there, but I'm helping her with other things now. 20 walk-ins, 17 new power of attorney, so that brings me to a total of 178. 30 intent files was submitted last month, so total of 234. New claims or increased claims was 13, which brings us to a total of 158 since I got here. 60 of those being those first-time claims, so that's veterans that the VA didn't even know existed. They don't count, we're not counting as our numbers here in Custer County. 4 supplemental claims, 5 higher level reviews. Those are ones where been denied and we're pushing back. Typically the mistakes from the VA. shocker. No unemployability claims filed. I've still got one pending out of the 4 that I've submitted. Total claims were at 233. No additional burial reimbursements have been submitted. On that note, though, I did have a widow come to me. Her husband was buried at the Catholic cemetery out here a year ago. Still no marker. So I did help her with the paperwork. We got her a marker. Obviously, there's no memorial marker place here in town, so we had to have it delivered to her house. Those things are heavy. So I asked Vern if he could give me a hand, and he didn't have to, but he came out. We went over there, picked up the marker, took it out to the cemetery, and we were able to get it placed for her. But so kudos to Vern for helping out. So I just wanted to give him a shout out for helping me out with that. VA debt waivers, I haven't had any more yet. I do know there's some out there where that glitch with the VBA system and Social Security wasn't doing what it was supposed to be doing, so people were double dipping with non-service connected pension and Social Security. The VA still hasn't figured out how they're gonna recoup all those funds because those people are living below the poverty line as it is. So I don't know how they're gonna expect them to pay back thousands and thousands of dollars. But I literally had one in yesterday where I identified the same thing. So what I'm trying to do now is get their service connected conditions compensation higher than that non-service connected pension. That way the VA will pay out on that amount. And then whenever they decide they're gonna collect, I can go back and say, nope. So we're still up in the air on that one. Increase in compensation, of those 60 where I filed first-time claims, 35 of them are now service-connected. So they were not receiving compensation and benefits before, now they are. Increased monthly compensation is up to almost $83,000 a month. Retro payments are just shy of $500,000 at this point. And then total increase in compensation, including the back payments, we're at just about $2,000 short of 1.4 million. Lucas, you did ask me to break it down by county, which I did, and it's on the sheet. I don't know if you have it up in front of you, but the top 3 are part-time residents of Custer County. So the top 2, one of them's Texas, one of them's Oklahoma, and the Snowbirds. They're both back here in town right now. The Douglas County one, he splits his time between Douglas County and here. He's got properties in both. So those top 3 are part-time residents here. Then you've got Fremont County, obviously, is the biggest number. I've got 15 veterans already rated from there. Mesa County, Pueblo County, a veteran in California, one in Texas, one in Oregon, one in Utah. The one in Utah is actually from here, and the family's trying to get him back here because of medical issues. So money going out of Custer County for my claims is just shy of the $400,000. So it still puts us over $1 million coming into the county. I'll give you my handy dandy visuals. So on here, again, this is just where we're at. So the green is all favorable. The pink on the left there, that's the folks that are 100%. The blue up at the top are claims that were denied by the VA. Bless you. The blue is the ones that were denied by the VA, which have already got flipped around. So from blue, green, and the pink, that's all favorable. Yellow is conditions where they were service connected. I asked for increase. They said no, they stayed where they were. And then what is supposed to be red, it looks like orange is the denials. And again, those denials, 4 of those, the veteran said the wrong thing at the evaluation. You can't take it back. It is what it is. But every other one is a mistake on the VA part. And that's where those high level reviews and the supplemental claims come in. I've got to push back. On the second sheet, it shows the big void there, the gray area, that's the pending claims. So that's claims that I've already filed, but we still don't have decisions on yet, so we're waiting on those. On that list, though, you can add Arapahoe County. I just called a veteran up in Arapahoe County. He just went from 40% to 80%. So that was a claim, and he's actually going to be moving down here. But I got tied in with him because he joined the American Legion. I was briefing them one night, and he's like, "Hey, can you help me?" I was like, "Sure." So he just got a $1,250 a month increase. So he went from 40 to 80. But he's going to be back down here for the Blues and Brews Festival, and he's looking to be down here permanently. VAG, so the Veteran Assistance Grant. Historically, Custer County has never applied for it. I applied for it, asked for 100,000, and I got 30. So we're winning. So that's $30,000 that we can use for veterans. So if they have like emergency auto repairs, medical assistance, I mean, whatever the case may be, firewood, we now have 30 grand that we can help with American Legion because they got 50 with VTF. So between American Legion and us, we've got 80 grand to help veterans with emergency financial assistance.
Is that, where is that 30,000 being deposited?
It's not. Okay. It's reimbursed. So, right. So I was going to ask for $6,000 in seed money, which Vern has already created a line item for that 6 grand to go into, and then it's reimbursed. So I can do 2 reimbursements a month, and that's coming from the state. So as I put money out, I just submit the reimbursement. They send us the money, and it goes back into that. So at the end of the year, that 6 grand will still be sitting there. Okay. But that's what I was going to ask for, is that $6,000 for seed money to get that up and running. I do have training for that on Monday. I am not going to Lakewood because I don't want anybody want to go to Lakewood, so I'll be doing it virtual. But that 6 grand will get us up and running. Now, obviously, and I said this when I interviewed you guys, my job is to ensure that we're getting people off county assistance, out of food lines, not having to come in and ask for this grant money. And that's why I help with the claims and change the circumstances. But this money's there for those folks that I can't do anything for. I can't find anything in their records. There's nothing I can do to increase their compensation. You know, and again, a lot of our folks here are on fixed income, especially our veteran population. So if we have this money available, then we can use it.
So is that going to largely be your discretion?
Yes. Okay. And I will be determining financial need. Okay. I mean, when with the American Legion, not knocking the American Legion, but you know, I had a veteran come in looking for firewood and then found out that he had just got a big back payment from the VA. I'm like, if you just got over $20,000 and back pay from the VA, why are you coming asking for grant money for firewood? That'd be like me asking for grant money for firewood. I wouldn't do it. I have the means to pay for it myself. So yes, I will be determining financial need before doling out that money.
Does DHS know that these funds are available to veterans?
They know of the VTF, but they don't know about the VAGs, but I can go over them and talk to them.
Yeah, that would be a good idea in case they have somebody who has something they need and they don't have a grant or something to help with it.
Yep, good point. I'll bring that with Laura. Thank you. As far as outreach goes, my normal monthly American Legion meetings and VFW meetings, I go over there and update them on what's going on. We were out in Wetmore for our coffee social and walking claims clinic. We had 2 veterans came in for that. Christy and I, we like to go at least once a month over to the senior center and talk to the veterans there. We obviously had that roundtable with Congresswoman Pedersen, and her staff has been diligent about doing follow-ups with us. So we had one follow-up, well, actually I had 2 follow-ups with them already, and then I've got another one scheduled for next week with Ryan. We had the World War II POW veteran that was returned home after 82 years missing. So his funeral service was in Florence on the 28th. Yeah, that was good. It was very well attended. But that's DPAA that go out and identify those remains and bring folks home. But that individual was actually in a mass grave in the Philippines with him and 7 other veterans. And they've already identified him and 5 others. And those other 5 are coming home as well. So yeah, it's a good deal. Veterans Coffee Social, it's always well attended. I think this morning we had 14 people in there, so it was pretty good. We actually might be looking for a new location for that just because it's tourist season and Main Street finding parking is a little ridiculous. So I think we're looking at all aboard Westcliff and possibly moving our location. And then obviously my Facebook, I'm sharing updates as they come up. Upcoming stuff, again, the American Legion and VFW meetings. Oh, obviously we had the 4th of July parade already and the barbecue, which was, and part of what me coming here, I wanted to get all these veteran-centric organizations to start working together. And the VFW, the American Legion, the Veterans Rescue Ranch, they put on the barbecue on the 4th of July for veterans and their families, which was really well attended. So that was good. Hopefully we see more of that. Also, I'm partnering with the VFW American Legion. I just talked to Reggie, she's the president of the school board, about having a more active role in what's going on at the school. You know, I talked to him about having a panel and talking to incoming freshmen, the kids that are interested in applying for academy spots, because that's the time they need to start working on their packages. So we're working on that together to try and have that bigger presence in the school. To do that, we're also acknowledging kids that are leaving to go into service after they graduate. Veterans Day, acknowledging the parents of kids at the school. So we're putting something together to present to the school for that. We'll be in Wetmore tomorrow for our coffee social out there and our plant clinic. And then, like I said, I meet next week for follow-up with Congresswoman Petterson's staff again. I didn't put it on my report because I totally forgot about it, but we have the rodeo next week, 17th and 18th. So I have a booth, the booth set up over there, and I'm hoping to bring my new toy down and set it up there.
I see it stayed home on the 4th, you were on your bike.
Yes, but I figured out what was wrong with it. And my son is very smug. He said, it's probably just out of gas. I said, no, there's a blockage in the fuel line somewhere. So I spent an hour trying to find blockage in the fuel line. I couldn't find it. And then I took the sending unit out. And when I did, and when I looked back at the fuel gauge, it had dropped back to empty. So I put fuel in and it started right up. So,
oh man, he's going to be on high for.
Oh, he was smug with the rest of the afternoon. Let me tell you. I said, I told you. I'm like, shut up. So
bike.
Yeah. So that was literally the day after we figured it out. So yeah, I'm hoping to bring it down next week for the rodeo, and we can set it up next to our table, and then hopefully it'll draw some people over. But that's why I picked it up is for outreach and draw people over that wouldn't normally show up to those veteran-centric things. Because I've done things like this in the past, going to car shows or whatever, all those veterans that avoid those veteran-centric, events. That's a tool I can use to engage them in conversation. The 27th, out at the Eagle Summit Ranch with Dave Reaver. He's doing his Christmas in July fundraiser, so I'll be out there, and I'll also have a table set up out there to do outreach out there. But that's pretty much it.
They don't do their potlucks out there anymore, do they?
I don't know, because I've never been on potluck out there. That's the first I've heard. It's the first I've heard of
I
it.
was wondering the same thing.
Yeah, I haven't heard of them lately. When David's folks were out there, we knew about them whenever they did have them, but,
I can ask Rusty when I see him. He's a new ranch manager out there, so.
be nice to know.
Yeah, I can check.
Go ahead, I'll let you.
There'll be more of that stuff upcoming at Eagle Summit and stuff. They're trying to get way more involved here in the county and stuff.
I know Rusty just came on board not too long ago, the new ranch manager out there, so he was just with us last week talking about he wanted to bring some more things, more events out there.
Yeah, they made a big push right off the bat and then kind of died down and I think they're trying
to run things
keep
back
going
up.
again.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of things about it. I've just not been out there yet. We were trying to go out there and do a visit, and it was obviously winter time, so it was always, snow was always a problem. Yeah, I'll definitely be out there on the 27th for that event out there. So I've got my CVA 26, and then the only other thing is that $6,000 seed money for VAG, which I will be managing the budget for that as well. So I'll have my whole spreadsheet set up for the budget for that, and reimbursements and the whole thing will be managed by me. But like I said, Vernon's already set up the line numbers in my budget now, so in and out.
Well, I would entertain a motion on the CBA 26 to begin with.
I'll move how do you prove what you've given us?
Approved this nice signature on the CBA 26. I would second. Any discussion on that?
Yes, sir.
All right, those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries.
And then the paperwork for that semi-annual stipend from the state, I submitted that, they received it, they said everything was good to go, so we don't need anything else, we just wait for them to load the money. How much they're gonna give us this time, which is gonna be differing every time now.
So then that seed money, you need it for next year's budget?
Now.
You need that now.
Yes, so I have the training on the 15th, and then once I've gone through that, then we can start using it, but that's from 1 July of this year through 30 June of next year. I should use that money, but I'd leave that seed money in there to get it, to be able to use those funds. So, yeah, sounds good.
And if we need a budget amendment resolution for that, I'll make sure that's on next week's agenda. So,
Awesome.
get it approved.
No questions?
None here.
Appreciate your time. Thanks, sir.
Good job, Hurley.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah, so I rode the motorcycle today, not a good idea. So I have to come down Ghost Road to come this way, because it's the shortest stretch of dirt. Yeah, they resurfaced the whole thing, so it was just loose gravel. So yeah, I was going through there like 5 miles an hour on the bike today.
You bet.
Yeah, that was fun.
Had 3 tracks, one for the tires and both feet dragging.
Yeah, there is now, yeah. I should see. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay.
Last one would be the CSU.
Extension. Tied up with the fair and the school.
I think she's got a typo in here.
Yeah.
They start on the public stuff starts on July 20th and runs through the sale on the 13th.
I'm good. She's got it.
Okay, you good with yours?
Yep. JD, just in time.
Am I up?
Not yet.
Well, I didn't think so, but,
But almost, JD.
yeah, well, that's what I figured, so I came over.
Everybody good to keep moving?
Yep.
Okay. Sir. That takes care of our staff reports. We have no unfinished business on the agenda. New business, first item up would be the special events permit for the Rotary Club of Wet Mountain Valley.
I received an application from them. They have a copy of all the paperwork. Everything is in order. I've got the application, 2 fees, one for us and one for the state. Each of those is $25. This is for malt, wine, and spirits liquor.
Did they bring a sample again?
No.
Brian, where's Brian when you need him?
And I believe this is a fundraiser, and maybe Dennis can tell you more about that.
Yes, it's a repeat of what we did 1 year ago. End of August last year, we held an event at the Beckwith Ranch. It's free and open to the public. We had live music all day, and there is no fee to get in. Just said free to the public, but donations are encouraged. So in between bands, I promoted it, and it was a successful event. And we raised $4,200, which half went to the Rotary Club of Wet Mountain Valley. The other half, we got a matching grant from our district, and through a contact that I've made in Poland, we helped fund a orphanage for Ukrainian orphans. Because our mission statement is supporting youth projects locally and internationally. So that was the international project that we chose this year. This year, the funding will all go through the Rotary Club of Wet Mountain Valley Club Foundation, which has given, my notes here, we've given over $650,000 in college scholarships to local high school kids right here in the county. And so the good thing about funding it through the foundation this year is that anybody that makes a contribution to the foundation can get a tax write-off. So we'll be able to give receipts to people that show up and just put $20 in the bucket. They can get a receipt and they can take that as a tax deduction. So that's a big difference this year. One additional event that one thing that we're adding, when you come into the ranch, the stage and the beverages and food will all be off more over towards the farms, towards the front, closer to the front of the mansion will be one of the recycle trailers that will be painted. If you've seen any of those, they're pretty cool. So Kim Townsend from our club is running that project. She has different youth groups coming and helping paint those trailers. So that will be an added visual for the people that show up and more encouragement for them to make contributions. The additional thing that I wanted to know, now the sign that was posted out at Beckwith Ranch, is that supposed to be posted up until today? Or
Yeah, it can be taken down.
I can go, okay, so I can go take it down.
Yeah.
Okay? And the last thing, if I wanted weather like I've got today, do I put that request into the commissioners or do I go to a higher power?
You can put it in here, but it won't do you any good. You better go to the higher power.
So come on down and it'll be a fun event.
Right.
Saturday, August 17th.
Yeah, I move we accept what do you want to do? Issue the special use permit for the Rotary Club, Mountain Valley. Mountain Valley, for special event.
Also,
Okay, so I have a motion on the floor to approve the SUP for the special, I guess, the special events permit, not an SUP.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Wait a second.
special
It's an-
events
Get the right
permit
thing.
for the Rotary Club of Wet Mountain Valley. Further discussion.
No.
All right, public comment? Yes, sir.
It's the last line, public comment? No.
We got 3 items to go through there.
Okay, seeing none online either. Those in favor of approving the special events permit for the Rotary Club signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. That motion carries.
Thank you. Staff reports and elected officials go up there and sit. Was that, what's the protocol?
You can stand.
You could have
You
done
can
it.
stand there or you.
Am I allowed to hand out?
Yes, you are.
I want to especially thank Kelly for all of her help on this. And when I remove the poster, do I return it to you or just
You
throw it
can
out?
just toss it.
I'll recycle it.
Put it in that trailer.
Yeah. All right, thank you very much.
Thanks, Dennis.
And I'll call you and let you know when this is ready.
Okay, thanks.
The next item would be the new software company, government software assurance. JD, you're up.
I actually just came because I heard they were giving out samples for the.
Sorry, I tried it last month too.
Bummer.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, how are you?
Good morning.
You had a bunch of stuff to present here.
So basically, I'm on CIC, as you guys know. When we went to them, the whole county went to them, they were pretty new to the assessment field. They'd been doing finance, they'd been doing treasure, they had just started doing assessment. It was fine for the first 2 years. Then the owner of the company died, his son took over, got rid of all the Colorado support, closed the office in Greeley, and it's been a mess for assessors ever since. I don't see it getting better. There were 6 Colorado assessors on. 3 of them will be off by the end of the year. We'll be down to 3. The other 2 are trying to get off. I do not want to be the only one left. There is a ton of, the legislature passed a ton of stuff that's going to take effect in 2025 that's going to require major rewrites, and I frankly don't think they're up to it. When I have support, it goes to Kansas and Missouri, and it takes a long time to get back to me, and they don't know Colorado, don't know our rules and regulations. It's kind of a mess. So I've been looking around. There's a company called GSA, Government Software Assurances. They're actually out of Florida, but to give you a little background, the guy that runs it, President Larry Zerbel or whatever his name is, I've met him. He used to live in Colorado. He created an assessment and treasure program that most of the big counties, Boulder, Denver, Jefferson, whoever else, Adams, Arapahoe, all went on. Then he sold it, and it became a system called Manatron. And then a company called Harris kind of bought them out and took some of it and put with theirs and got. Anyhow, he had a non-compete clause. Prior to that, he had an earlier one that he'd done, but they required a non-compete. So he moved to Florida, started a whole new one for assessors and treasurers in Florida. I believe he has 40 counties on in Florida. Well, his non-compete in Colorado's up, so he's coming back to Colorado. Jefferson County, Pueblo County, there's 3 big, there's Jefferson, Pueblo, I can't remember the other one that signed on with him, and then Washington and San Juan. They'll have 5 counties by the end of the year. Logan and Sedgwick, the other 2 counties that are on with me, are looking at going. They made a special deal with the CIC counties. They said, we know you guys are hurting. We'll give you preferred pricing if you sign on pretty quick, and we'll get you guys in before we start selling it to anybody else. I've looked at Harris, I've looked at Tyler. To be honest, Tyler's probably the leader. They probably have over 30 counties in Colorado assessing, but they're like twice the cost. Harris is okay. They have good support. Their system's a little hard to learn, but anyhow, they're more. They're about 13% more. Tyler's like double. And you guys know what's going on with the sheriff's office and stuff with Tyler. Tyler's problem is they're really good, but they're hurting on support right now because they're expanding too fast. They went into Wyoming, they went into Utah. Anyhow, GSA, what I'm looking to do is I talked with them. We could sign a contract this year and we wouldn't have to pay anything until 2025. So that way we wouldn't be paying 2 companies. We could finish CIC this year. They would be working on it, have us ready to go for 2025 and with them. So where I'm at today is I'm basically just asking permission to go ahead, tell them, yes, we're very interested. Could we see a contract with pricing in it? And what we typically do at that point is then I would contact Mr. Slater with the contract, ask him to look at it. Typically they look at it and go, yeah, it's fine, or take this word out, or take this clause out, or whatever, exchange this. And then we go ahead and send it back to them signed and we're ready to go. They wouldn't require any payment until, like I say, 2025. Now, I will say they're about $20,000 a year more than we're currently paying. But they are cheaper than Harris, they're cheaper than Tyler, they're cheaper than Manatron. They're giving us preferential pricing, and you kind of get what you pay for. Now, part of the reason I like them too is, again, I met with the president. They've actually hired the guys that wrote the CIC system for Colorado assessors, were from Greeley. They hired those guys to be the programmers. They said they already know that system. They already have a system. We'll hire them to come in, work on our system, and that way they'll know how to convert all you guys over. And Pueblo's already converted. They go live, I think, July 15th. They will be done with CIC. And I've talked to them. They said, we had 1 or 2 little hickeys. Well, we had hundreds when we converted to CIC. So they're giving us preferential pricing. We could sign a contract in 24. start working on it, start doing the conversion, but wouldn't have to pay anything until 2025. And I'm just worried they're gonna get rid of assessors in Colorado and I'll be the only one left. And when they say you're gone, we're gonna have to pay a lot more to find someone else at that point because we don't have an alternative. Everybody knows we're at the end. I've talked with Virginia about coming over as well. She does not want to. She's like, I'm not having the support problem and I don't want to learn a new system and I don't want to do another conversion. And I'm like, okay, that's fine for you. For me, I'm afraid 2025, I'm going to have a system that doesn't work. Yeah. And with the changes, and I got to do something. I would prefer to stay on with her, but I just can't if my system doesn't work.
But especially if they can't react fast enough to what the state does in a short amount of time.
They're telling me they can, but I doubt it tells that.
Especially as every other county is abandoning ship.
Yeah, and we currently pay CIC somewhere around 18, I don't know the actual figure, it's 18 to 19,000 a year. This will be 38,000, so it'll be 20,000 more. Okay. But, and I sent that in here somewhere. I think it shows I sent a ton of paperwork. I sent everything they sent me as far as like potential. They sent, I don't know if you've looked at it, Mr. Slater. They sent a contract, just kind of a standard contract. And they told me if your attorney has issues, they can let us know. We'll work for you to change it. But basically 38,000 that first year, and it ends up being 48% less than Florida and like 13 to 14% less than Harris. The other thing with Harris is these people host your stuff. With Harris, they don't. We'd have to buy our own servers and have them maintained. So it's actually going to end up probably being even more. We'd have to have Vernon and Jordan maintain the servers and buy servers, and these guys do all that offsite, which is what we've done for years. We have it all offsite. So I don't know if you guys have any questions. I'm not asking you to sign anything today. I'm just asking, is it okay to go ahead, tell them we're fairly interested? Can you drop a potential contract, put the actual figures in? I can send it to the county attorney. Once he approves it, I can bring it to you guys to look at, and you can decide whether to do it or not. But I'm just looking for, can we go ahead and do it? Because time is of the essence here, I guess.
I'd be curious how they interface with the rest of our systems once it's in. When you bring it back.
Yeah, they don't interface with finance at all. They don't do finance. They just do assessor, treasurer. How I interface with Virginia, it will be a bit of a problem. That's a good question. Well, not a problem. It'll be more work because right now, if I change an address for somebody, it changes it for Virginia. If she changes it, it changes it for me. We'll both have to make address changes because we're in different systems. Right. Other than that, she's dealing with, like, for instance, right now, 2024, she's collecting 2023 taxes. I'm dealing with 2024 assessments, so we're always a year off. So what happens is at the end of the year, I send her the tax roll. CIC converts it into their format, and then she's just separate from me. So it's not a big deal. There's lots of counties where the assessor and treasurer are different. Probably almost as many are separate as are together. For whatever reason, to me, it's easier to be on the same. But so I would do the tax roll, send it to her, and then every year, nothing will get changed. Nothing gets changed in her system. All the things I do this year don't go into her system till next year because she's doing that. So it would just be address changes is the only thing we would have to double do. That's about it.
So, yeah, on the spreadsheet you sent us to, it's got that 38 and change on.
Yeah, right.
But then on the 5-year.
Right, it's because it goes up 6% a year or whatever. It goes up.
So that's inclusive of that.
Yes.
That's why I was
Yeah.
going to say those numbers.
And thank you for bringing that up because the 5-year is also what they told me, and we'll see, was the first 5 years is going to be more expensive because that includes your conversion costs and all that. So you sign an initial 5-year contract, and then if you renew, it will actually go down because the conversion costs and all that are rolled over that 5-year period. Does that make sense?
So it's got the project cost.
It's got the project costs included in that first 5 years. After that, you're just paying the software costs.
Okay.
I know Tyler, when we looked at switching to CIC, Tyler wanted $165,000 up front for conversion costs, which I thought was insane. I think now they're willing to roll it into the whole 5-year thing. And that's what these guys are doing too. They're giving you a cheap price on the first year, and then it goes up, but it includes all the conversion costs over the next 4 years. So yeah, it gets more expensive for 5 years, and then it drops down.
Okay, I'm seeing 115 here for the project cost.
Right, and that's included in that whole thing, and it's rolled into that 5 years, yeah.
Okay, so
And that's why I sent you everything, because rather than me trying to explain it, it's like,
You made
can-
our packet very, very large.
well, sorry. And maybe I didn't need to send it all, but I thought if I got it, I'm gonna let you look at it, because it's what they sent me.
Well, yeah, that's good.
Well, I don't have a problem with him bringing options back.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, I'll,
Do we need to make a motion?
No.
okay, well, I'll contact them today or tomorrow, tell them that, yeah, I can't tell them we're gonna sign, but I'll tell them we're 90% interested. Draw us up a sample contract with the things, and we'll take a look at it, and then I'll get with Kelly, get on the agenda again. Well, in the meantime, I'll send it in like I did this. Hopefully, I won't send all this, hopefully just to come. And I'll have to get Mr. Slater's contact info from you, I guess, and I can send it to you when and you can look at it. I know the CIC contract Clint Smith did, I think he was like, I don't like the way this is worded, can you tweak this a little bit and suggest, and they're like, yeah, that's minor, fine. So it's usually not that, because they have their own lawyers looking at it too, so. Okay, that's all I got, so.
And this is a good time to do it because we're going to be going into budget season.
Yeah, exactly, that's what I thought too, and again, it wouldn't cost anything for this year, even if we signed, let's say we signed in August or September and they started working on it, we wouldn't actually go live until 2025, so it wouldn't cost us anything until 2025, so.
When's a good time to do a conversion then for you? Is this the best time to do the conversion?
Whenever. We can make it work. Last time we did it right in the middle of appeals, which was the worst time. So if I can do that, we can do it anytime. Yeah, they had
just not do it through appeals.
They wanted us to go live June 1st and appeals is through June 8th. And I'm like, okay, but that's just how it went.
All right.
So it's not that big a deal. We can make it work because they do the conversion elsewhere, do the training, and then they just bring it over. You go do the training with them. And they've converted it all in the background for you to play with. It's not your live data. You send it to them. They do it. You can play with it. They can convert it. You look for, and then once you're ready to go, they do one more conversion and boom, you're good. So at least that's how it worked last time, and that seems to be typical. So, and I talked to both Pueblo and Washington County because they're both say, well, Pueblo goes live July 15th. They've been playing with their stuff for about 2 months now looking, and they're like, we're finding very few problems or errors. And it's because he's hired those guys that wrote that system so they know how to do it.
Are they converting from CIC to
Yeah,
Pueblo?
from CIC to GSA, yeah. Pueblo's on CIC too. Jefferson's not. Jefferson's a 2-year project that they're doing, and they're doing all kinds of stuff for Jefferson besides bringing them on. They're bringing the assessor, the treasurer, they're doing mapping they're doing a bunch of stuff for them. But they're like, we're gonna get you guys all in ahead of them, and then we'll start selling it to other counties. But they'll have, if we go, they'll have 8 initially in the first, well, by probably June of next year, they'll have 8 counties. And then they're gonna start actually going out selling it to people. But they contacted us because they knew CIC was a problem and we weren't happy, so they contacted that whole group and said, if you guys all come over, we'll give you good pricing for that first conversion costs and all that, and so, project costs, so it seems to be a good way to go. All right, thank you, guys.
Thanks.
I'll get out of your hair.
All right, thank you.
Yep,
Thanks, JD.
yep, and I'll probably be sending you something.
Sounds good.
Okay, next item would be Custer County Kids Council, MOU. This is the same as the existing MOU that we've had with her. The dates are changed, and I believe that they have named her a director now rather than, and
It either went from director to administrator or the other way around.
they've got her as director here now, so I believe she was administrator before. So this is an agreement entered to by and between Custer County and Custer County Kids Council, and this is in regards to all of the pass-through grants that she operates off of, and making us the fiscal agent for the Kids Council.
Dan, did you have any problems with this MOU or?
Well, I know this is basically the same, this is basically identical to what the county's done before, so I don't want to rock the boat if it's been working. So I'm not gonna put a big stink about anything I see in here.
Move we approve the MOU.
I'll second.
Okay, so I do have a motion on the floor to approve the MOU between Custer County and the Custer County Kids Council. Any further discussion at the table?
None from you, sir.
Public comment? Not seeing anything here either. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. That motion carries.
Yeah.
Okay, next item would be the Redlands Accounting and Advisory LLC contract.
So Lisa Haman sent this to me and I sent it to you guys. Basically, this is for, and I've sent it to you, Mr. Slater.
Yep.
This would engage her on a month-to-month basis that we, either one of us can get out of with 30-day notice. And she'll kind of take on a role, and the biggest one is on the first page, engagement, objective, and scope. Assist the county in drafting and completing the budget, quarterly budget review to the BOCC, monthly balance sheet reconciliations and monitoring, monthly reports to the BOCC, monthly credit card activity reconciliation, technical support and training throughout the year. Basically, in a lot of ways, or in some ways, she would be our finance director, per se, through the rest of the year, at least. This is kind of what I talked to her about, at least through the end of the year, but it's on a month-to-month basis.
Should be here long enough to interface with whoever we hire.
Right. Yeah, exactly right. And kind of help us draft through that transition, or we change the bounds of what she's doing, depending on who we get or how we choose to change this department or form this department. The letter that's also attached with it is just something I asked her to put together, to kind of give us just a description and a breakout of who she thought each position would do, and we're getting more and more that way as we pull HR world out of the finance world, and we have a dividing line between the two of them and what they do. So.
Total cost is $7,000 a month.
$5,000 a month. I think that is on
What's her tier 2?
page 4.
She got tier 1 and tier 2. I was adding the two. I guess it's 8.5. Is that?
Yeah, don't add the two. It's either one or the other.
It is.
Yeah. And I basically said, give me the tier 1 proposal. So, I mean, if you guys want to go back to tier 2, that's 3,000. Had the 3,000 months, but I wanted her to start reconciling on a monthly basis, so I jumped it up to the 5,000. They went with a tier 1, so it's either tier 1 or tier 2. And I just picked tier 1, told her to make the contract for that. You seeing anything, Dan, that you don't?
No, I don't see anything that raises a red flag for me.
This is good through the end of the year.
Yeah, just this.
Let's see, that
June
June of 25.
Oh, is it June 25? That's for a year.
Yeah.
It's even better.
Or until we terminate if there's something.
Yeah,
like that.
they have 30 days written notification by either party that the agreement's terminated, so.
Yeah, they're all in there.
Does it include working with the training our new finance officer?
Technical support and training throughout the year, so.
That training would cover it.
I would imagine so. And we've talked about it, but we've talked about that, we've talked about her,
Training.
helping us review, any applications that we get in, resumes. Especially since she kind of knows the team here that, and the staff here that person would be coming into.
Good, I think she's doing a good job, and I think it's right to keep her from that. So you put this on to approve? Okay.
What?
We just discussed it.
No, I mean, it's just the thing, because we don't have consideration or discussion. So everything's a consideration or a discussion. So, no, I'm looking for an improvement. And so I'll make a motion that we move forward with Redlands Accounting and Advisory LLC contract.
Yeah, motion. Do I have a
I'll second.
Okay. I do have a motion on the floor to approve the Redlands Accounting and Advisory LLC contract as presented here today. Any further discussion on this contract?
None for me.
Okay. Public comment? Nadine?
Thank you. It's Nadine Peterson. I have a question. This, how much is the contract or whatever, how much we're paying her annually if she is hired?
$5,000 a month times 12 is $60,000.
And how much work per week is she doing for us?
The work that needs to be done to get it done.
Do you have
Some weeks are going to be more hours than other weeks, or I should say more months. Some months are going to be more hours than other months.
Hopefully it won't last a whole year.
all right, and so is this are you actually continuing to look for a full-time residential finance manager for Custer County? Or are you just?
Yes, we still have the advertisements for the job application out there through all the avenues.
And we have one that is in now.
We do have one application
in. And we're standing by until we get more, until we approve it.
All right, so-
We're going to continue to advertise.
All right, and so she will, she will work until the finance manager is hired.
Or until
In transition.
We'll get through transition and we're comfortable.
Okay. And how long are you going to make this one person who applied for the finance manager job, going to make them wait to hear back from you? Have you met with?
I believe that Robert reached out the other day but I'll have to confirm that.
We asked him to send us the resume so we could look at it to see if it was, we continue.
So that one is in the process of being looked at to decide if we want to go ahead and move forward with just the one, or if we go ahead and hold off. But, so that is in process.
And is that the citizens that are helping you look at these resumes, are they still active?
Yes.
4 of them are at least.
And then that's why we're gonna look at them. We're gonna send it to the citizens to take a look at it. Same process. That was the plan.
Okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? Go ahead.
Jim Shavlin. I've been watching this process as it's going along and stuff here, and I am quite happy with the way you guys are handling it and what's going on and stuff here. It looks to me like a positive approach, and I'm sure that it'll work out fine.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Jim.
Anyone else? Okay. That being the case, I have a motion on the floor to approve the Redlands Accounting and Advisory LLC contract as presented here today. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. That motion carries. So your page is on the back, but it's not.
You can put the screen down, Bill.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why.
Are you getting sunburned?
Yeah. They got snowblind.
Just thought about it.
Okay.
Here's all your pen. You gotta write, you need to write it here.
Next item that we have on our agenda is the AP accounts payable. You all have a hard copy of that.
Yes, sir.
And I would just note that there were 3 items, just getting the classifications, where 3 of the printers, copy machines are coded to. Is why those are taken off of this AP until we get the proper coding for that. Any questions or?
No, I moved to approve.
I'll second it.
This AP run of $55,711.08.
Okay, so I do have a motion on the floor to approve the AP accounts payable in the sum of $55,711.08. Any further discussion here at the table? Public comment? Seeing none, those in favor of approving the accounts payable in the sum of $55,711.08, signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. That motion carries. Any additional items of business, John?
I just want to remind everybody that the 24th is our 6-month budget review meeting over at the SAR building. So we won't have a regularly scheduled BOCC meeting in here on that date. Lisa Hamon from Redlands will be here for that. We'll kind of also talk towards the end of that meeting about what we're going to go through with August, September, and October, into November for the budget process. Kind of have an outline of what we're going to do there.
Hey, you mentioned it's gonna be similar in October, going through.
Yeah, so in October, we're gonna, that one was gonna be the fourth weekend, or the fourth week, the fourth Wednesday. We're gonna move that up to the second Wednesday so that we can review basically 75% through, so that we can get anything that may be affecting the budget for 25, get that figured out before, or at the end of October, and then we just have a couple weeks in November. But the goal is to get it all approved before Thanksgiving week, so the Wednesday before the Thanksgiving week, so.
Beats doing it the week of Christmas.
Yeah, that's for sure. I don't want to do that again.
That's crazy.
All right, anything else? All right, public comment. Jim.
Jim Chaplin. I would like to speak to subject of Eagle Summit, and Dave Reaver came up a little while ago. I'd just like to comment that his heart is here in this county. He's coming in to speak at Liberty Rocks. It's next Thursday, and he's flying in special here, and he's gonna fly out right after he speaks because he's got another thing going and he didn't realize and stuff there. But he is coming here because he says this is where his heart is.
All right, thank you, sir.
That's next week, Thursday, right?
Yeah, it should be the 18th,
Yeah.
Okay, Thursday.
Okay.
So 18th. David. I think that's RIEVERS, right?
ROEVER.
Okay, I had.
Looks like Rover, but he says he is not a dog. His name is Reaver.
Sounds like something he would say. All right, anything else? Jeff?
Canterbury. I would like to make some comments about the workshop that was held at Lang Hall the 17th of June. I was very disappointed in the way that that was put on and the way it was presented. The public was basically not allowed to ask questions the way the format was, where we had to write questions down and submit them, and made it so the Board of County Commissioners got to pick and choose what questions got asked and got answered. I would also like to say that I was very disappointed that our own county clerk and election official Peggy Miller were not more involved in the presentation and answering the questions. This is Custer County. We want to hear from our election officials, not the Arapahoe County election official or somebody else. This is Custer County. We expected to hear from our Custer County officials. It was basically, I don't know why the public was invited to that workshop, especially after one of our county commissioners told me that that workshop wasn't for the community, it was for the county commissioners. That's when I said there wasn't any need for me to be there, and I left. Because the way it was presented, it was going to be a workshop for the county, not for the county commissioners. And I hope that any workshops in the future, whether they're for election or integrity, or changing the zoning so that people can have outhouses again, if there's a public workshop, that it's truly a public workshop and the public gets to interact on a fair and democratic platform, rather than more of a socialist platform where the questions that get asked are selected and chosen by the county commissioners. Thank you.
I normally would not respond, but I will address a couple of the issues you brought up, if you don't mind. Question and answers. All but just about 4 or 5 questions were asked, and we didn't pick and choose. As they came in, I was distributing down the back and forth on the table, so we all had questions to ask. I believe all of them that were on the list that went around were answered. And then in regard the prior meeting, this was set up the same way as that. There were not, they were supposed to be written questions at that first meeting as well, so it was the same format. And in regards to hearing from our election officials here, they were not afforded an opportunity at the first meeting either. So I will address those, and that's probably where I'll leave that at the present time. I'll let you respond.
Yes, I was not aware that the election officials were not aware of the first meeting and were not allowed to be there. It was a public meeting, not only elected officials, they're part of the public, and neither one of them attended. I don't know what the reason for that was, but I do believe they had the opportunity to attend and comment at the first meeting if they would have so chosen.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yeah.
Mr. Frank?
Harold Frank, Custer County citizen. I'm here on behalf of, about the same workshop, and Justin, to your response that you believe every question was answered, that's not true. I put 2 questions on the form. The first question was read and it was not answered. It was skipped to the next question, so that is not true. Not every question was answered. And the whole thing was like censored, like I thought for a moment we are here in Eastern Europe during the communist era. Totally censored and tyrannical. You wouldn't let anybody respond to any comment that was made during that presentation. They did not present any proof or anything about the continuous lie that they presented there. And I'm quite honestly stunned about the lack of understanding about election fraud. What happened in our country in the 2020 election, but in other elections too, is unbelievable. Nobody can in their right mind think that Joe Biden won this election. That's unheard of, and had more votes than Barack Obama in his when he got reelected. Nobody in their right mind would believe that. Just because the election turned out the way you would like it doesn't mean that this election was a fair election. The Constitution guarantees us a free and fair election, and when we have concerns about the election not being fair, then I don't know why you take it all personal about us bringing up our concerns, and you do take it very personal, which we have heard in the past. The second, I think it was the second speaker, no, it was the first speaker, the Deputy Secretary of State, constantly, including
the other speakers, they constantly talked about the laws and how we have to abide the law. That was the most hypocritical talk or statement that I heard that evening. That very Secretary of State was trying to remove a candidate from the ballot, totally unlawful, totally unfounded of, and I believe it has never happened before in the history of the United States. And if the Supreme Court wouldn't have jumped in, they would have removed Donald Trump from the ballot. So to talk about the law and how we have to abide the law, whatever suits them, is about as hypocritical as it comes. The second speaker, Matt Crane, his wife worked for 19 years for Dominion. And with that was all of his statements were totally compromised. This was not an unbiased presentation. And the second speaker and the last speaker, and our clerk, they are members of the Colorado Clerk Association, and they all, I think they're more interested in pleasing the Secretary of State and the Clerks Association than they are their own constituents. Kelly Camper got elected in Custer County for the people of Custer County, and when we bring a legitimate concern about election fraud to her, and she takes that totally personal. I do take it personal that she will not look at the concern. And all the proof that has been presented to you about election fraud has been presented with proof and with by people, experts who have studied that subject for a long time, and you have disregarded them over and over. And last but not least, Mr. Day, you do not have the power or the right to throw somebody out of that meeting. You don't, even if you think you do. So.
Thank you. Anyone else? Nothing online. That being the case, I will adjourn this meeting at 11:57.